first, we got the top 10 largest battles in Warhammer 40k. Shout out to Morlord for this video. Other than that, let's get to it. Let's go, y'all.
Millennium, war isn't the exception, it's the rule. Planets burn, empires shatter, and whole species are wiped from existence. In a galaxy this brutal, some battles stand above the rest. Moments where the fate of millions, even billions, was decided at the...
Yo, real quick, I already know, and now I can already tell that the Orcs gonna be in like half of these battles, bro. I know the Orcs gonna be in these battles. I know that the Tyranids gonna be in these battles. Who else? I don't know about the Necrons too much, but definitely the Orcs and Tyranids gonna be in these battles for sure. At least half of them.
Barrel of a gun or the point of a blade. Today we are diving into the greatest wars and most devastating battles ever fought in the grim darkness of the far future. Armageddon has been an almost constant battlefield since the Horus Heresy. The Third War for the vital industrial planet began in 998 M41, when war boss Ghazghkull Thraka returned at the head of a Waaagh far larger than his first. Imperial records estimate the Orc forces numbered in the billions, drawn from dozens of warbands spread across the sector.
A billion?
Facing them was a force unlike anything seen since the Horus Heresy. At least 25 Space Marine chapters, multiple Titan legions, the Sisters of Battle, the Armageddon Steel Legion, and over a dozen Imperial Guard regiments deployed to defend the world. Naval fleets fought in orbit while fortress asteroids filled with Orcs rained down on the planet's surface. Hades' hive was destroyed outright by an orbital impact. In the jungles, Space Marines from the Black Templars and Relic Corps fought the invaders while searching for ancient Chaos relics from the First War.
Bro, okay, never mind. I was like, sometimes like I think of ideas, but then I have to like cancel the idea because it's just dumb. So my idea was, my idea was, bro, I would like, if I'm on like the if I'm like on the Imperium's team or whatever, bro, I would wait for all the Orcs to arrive on a planet and then just blow the planet up. That's what I was thinking, but then I'm like, wait a minute, the whole point is to save the planet. So, yeah, my bad.
At Katana Bay, Orc commando raids shattered the lines before the largest dreadnought battle of the war unfolded at Gate 9 of the important water processing plant. But the most famous stand took place at Hive Hell's Reach. There, 100 Black Templars under Reclusiar Grimaldus defended the city for 6 weeks, holding off millions of Orcs and over 100 massive Gargant walkers. They were joined in the defense by Militarum stormtroopers, Salamanders reinforcements, a Titan legion, a Sisters of Battle convent, and even armed dock workers. Hell's Reach did eventually fall, but at such a cost to the Orcs that the Imperium reclaimed it soon after.
Let's go!
Across the planet, the war ended in a stalemate. Some hives endured, others burned, and Ghazghkull escaped once again. Armageddon remains a war zone to this day, made worse by the arrival of Khorne's demons after the Great Rift split the system wide open. The largest tank battle in Imperial history didn't begin as a war, it began as an execution. In 544 M31, the Iron Warriors Legion, led by Primarch Perturabo, virus-bombed the world of Talarn. Their goal was simple: annihilate the population and seize a hidden superweapon known as the Black Oculus. But once they deployed to the surface, they found resistance. Beneath the poison sands, entire armored battalions had survived in vast underground bunkers. And when the traitors made planetfall, over 1 million tanks and war machines rolled out to meet them.
Yo, how do they have like that many like resources to even make this, y'all? 1 million tanks is diabolical. How do they even have enough space to go crazy and get their bag off?
Guarding the largest armored confrontation in humanity's history. The Loyalist defense was a desperate patchwork of forces. The Imperial Army made up the bulk of the defenders, supported by Titan legions and Space Marines from the Imperial Fists, Iron Hands, White Scars, and even the Alpha Legion.
Okay, let's read this real quick. It says the attackers, y'all. Iron Warriors, Thousand Sons, Traitor Knight. Okay, so these are the traitors, obviously. Okay, these are like the bad guys. Defenders, Dark Angels, Imperium Fists, Astra, Militarium, whatever. White Scars, duh, we know them. Space Wolves, we know them. Ultramarines, we know them. Alpha Legion. Oh, so the Alpha Legion, they was on both sides. Imperium Knights. Okay, boom. Okay.
Whose true loyalties, as usual, were unclear. Titans from 4 separate Collegia Titanica battle groups strode through the irradiated deserts, while Freeblade Knights fought doomed last stands in burning valleys. Ammunition grew scarce, water even scarcer, and the war devolved into brutal duels fought across a dead world. But despite the Iron Warriors' relentless assault, the defenders slowly turned the tide. Reinforcements broke through the traitor blockade ship by ship, including the Lessons of Ages, an ancient warship that had served since the Great Crusade. Over time, dozens of vessels answered the Loyalist call, landing desperately needed troops and supplies. Several turning points finally broke the Iron Warriors' momentum. Imperial Fist's legionnaires infiltrated the Eagle's Talon, a super heavy Iron Warriors transport. They sabotaged the ship and crashed it into the battlefield, triggering a nuclear blast that irradiated the region for 6 days.
Wait, only for 6 days? Yo, I thought once something gets radiated, it's GG's for at least like a 1,000 years or something. Like, where did I hear that from?
Not long after, a rogue traitor flotilla known as the Golden Fleet tricked Perturabo into lowering his defenses, claiming allegiance to Horus, only to open fire on the traitor fleet and cripple their orbital support.
Lit him up!
The final blow came from within the traitor ranks themselves. Horus, furious at Perturabo's delay, personally ordered him to abandon Talarn and rejoin the main rebellion.
Below the surface, Perturabo's search for the Black Oculus ended in disaster, as the dreadnought he had sent to guard the artifact was forced to destroy it before the Iron Warriors could claim their prize.
In the end, Talarn was reduced to a lifeless wasteland, its atmosphere poisoned beyond recovery, but the Loyalists had denied Perturabo his prize.
Even in the grim darkness of the far future, warriors are forged not only on the battlefield, but in the stories we tell. That is where Grit and Glory comes in. It's a brand new tabletop RPG that lets you build heroes and villains as
hey, more lore. That was a good ad placement, yo. Hey, I can't lie to you. He almost got me with that one. That was smooth. That was slick.
First large-scale war against the Tau Empire.
This video was like 2 weeks ago.
Though still young, the Tau controlled over a dozen sept worlds and were expanding through diplomacy, convincing several Imperial frontier worlds to defect. To stop...
Bro, respectfully, yo, shout out to you. I understand you just trying to put food on the table. I'm pretty sure this is the Tau, right? Yo, no lie, man. He hideous. He got a face only a mother can love, y'all. Shout out to him, though, for real. Shout out to him, but... Nah, y'all, GG's.
The spread of their influence, the Imperium launched a crusade. Led by Cardinal Gurney of Brimlock, the crusade assembled within months. 5 Space Marine companies, 19 Imperial Guard regiments, and a dozen capital ships. Their orders were clear. Reclaim or burn any world that had fallen to Xenos heresy. The early campaign was swift. On Sail Kel, the Imperials crushed the Tau after some initial losses, exterminating an estimated 7 million Tau civilians in retribution, but the conflict changed at Daleth. Daleth was not a frontier colony. It was a fortified sept world, defended by advanced orbital stations, a Tau battle fleet, and Kroot war spheres. The Imperial Navy won the Void battle, but suffered serious losses. On the ground, the war became a brutal stalemate as Commander Pirtide, the Tau's greatest military mind, outmaneuvered the Imperials at every turn. Guard regiments bled for every hill and forest, while the Astartes struggled to pin down an enemy who refused to fight on Imperial terms. The campaign dragged on for months with no clear end in sight. Estimates place the Imperial casualties in the hundreds of thousands, though exact figures are debated. However, the Tau, while heavily bloodied, proved to be far tougher than expected, and just as the Imperium prepared to escalate, word came of a far greater threat, Hive Fleet Behemoth, the first tyrannic war.
Bro, what is this? Yo, I beg your pardon? What is this?
War had begun. With no reinforcements coming, the crusade was called off. The Tau, seeing their chance, proposed peace, and for once, the Imperium Police Crusade ended in a stalemate, but its lesson was clear. The Tau were no mere backwater empire. They were a rising power, and the Imperium had underestimated them. The Badab War was the largest Space Marine civil war since the Horus Heresy, spanning nearly a decade and drawing in 17 chapters, dozens of warships, and costing thousands of Astartes' lives.
Now, I've actually heard of the Badab War before. I don't know if I heard it from either Major Kill or... No, I didn't hear it from West Hammer. I think I heard it from Major Kill, y'all. The Badab War, but 17 chapters is crazy, bro. That's the whole neighborhood, like the whole hood fighting.
It began on the Imperium's southern border in the Maelstrom Zone, a region plagued by warp storms and Xenos raiders. Here, the Astral Claws, led by Chapter Master Huron, were tasked with safeguarding Imperial interests. But over decades, isolation, dwindling support, and the corruption of local administratum officials pushed them toward rebellion. Huron claimed that the Imperium's bureaucracy was strangling the sector's defenses with tithes and red tape. He refused to pay further taxes and seized control of local trade.
Tax evasion, rax evasion. Yo, he tried to evade the taxes real quick. My bad, yo, I have to plug something up real quick. Yo, he tried to evade the taxes. Buddy, you're not going nowhere. As a matter of fact, yo, hey, every single check you get, every single, whatever. Every single check, every single bag of gold, you can get a bag of coins if you wanted to. Bro, me and my guys, bro, me and my menaces are coming to collect. What are you talking about? Well, what are we on about? See, I don't want to get serious. But you're not finna avoid these taxes, buddy. You thought you could just slip away? You thought you could just finesse this whole thing? No. And as a matter of fact, brother, this is Warhammer. There's no tax write-offs. Yeah. That means that 40% that belongs to me is coming to me. Yeah, bro. That new Ferrari, that new McLaren, that new Rolls Royce, yeah, that new G-Wagon is not a part of your business. Yeah, so it can't go as a tax write-off. Yeah, I know. You tried to finesse. It's not going to work. Give it here. Stop playing with me.
Worse, he convinced 3 other chapters, the Mantis Warriors, Executioners, and the Lamenters, to fight alongside him, telling them that the conflict was a battle for justice, not treason. But when the Inquisition uncovered the scale of Huron's defiance, the High Lords launched a full military response. Loyalist chapters cycled in and out of the war zone, laying siege to Maelstrom's rebel strongholds.
Real quick, y'all.
Chapters cycled in and the High Lords...
These dudes, they're weird. Look, I don't want to make fun of these guys, bro, but they gotta be weirdos, bro. These guys are weird. They're weirdos, y'all. There's no way these dudes just sit up here on their high horse. There's no way they sit up on their high horse 24/7 demanding things. Like, how did they even become this? How did these little freaky deaky menaces even be available for this job in the first place?
Launched a full military response. Loyalist chapters cycled in and out of the war zone, laying siege to Maelstrom's rebel strongholds in a grinding, years-long conflict. Over time, the war burned through entire companies of Space Marines on both sides. The tragedy of the war lay in how many rebels fought for ideals, not chaos. The Lamenters, cursed by fate since their founding, surrendered when they realized the rebellion had turned to true heresy, but the Imperium punished them severely, ordering them to undertake a penitent crusade. The final battle came at Bad Ab Primaris, homeworld of the Astral Claws. At the volcanic Palace of Thorns, over 700 Star Phantom Space Marines launched a mass drop pod assault under orbital bombardment. Nearly 200 were killed on impact or in the first minutes of the assault. Inside, Terminators and siege units battled in brutal close quarters until Loyalist demolition teams crippled the palace's defenses. Inquisitorial forces swept in afterwards to finish up the job. Huron was gravely wounded, his body shattered by a meltablast, but he escaped into the warp with about 200 Astral Claws, later rebranding them as the Red Corsairs. Rebuilt as a crude cyborg, he returned
Look at him, y'all, real quick. I don't want to talk about
by a
nobody's face.
meltablast, but he escaped into the warp with about 200 Astral Claws, later rebranding them as the Red Corsairs.
Yo, he went from this to this, y'all. If that doesn't scream fall off, I don't know what does. Bro fell from grace. He fell, bro. Like, look at him, y'all. No wonder he renamed them the Red Corsairs. And bro, the fact that he got this right here as his logo is absolutely down bad. Change your logo immediately. That's number 1. Number 2, bro, like, man, he's ugly now, bro. He's down bad, bro. Kids, lay off the drugs immediately.
Corsairs. Rebuilt as a crude cyborg, he returned to the Maelstrom as Huron Blackheart, Corsair King and Scourge of the Imperium's southern border, and the only Space Marine pirate lord in history. Few wars have pushed the Imperium closer to annihilation than the War of the Beast. 15 centuries after Ulanor, the Orcs returned not as a scattered horde, but as a unified empire led by the Beast, a war boss with near Primarch level intelligence. This wasn't just another Waaagh. The Beast coordinated a galaxy-wide assault. Hundreds of worlds fell as the Orcs deployed attack moons, massive space stations the size of small planets, each armed with gravitational weapons capable of shattering continents. Most Imperial forces couldn't even understand how they were built, much less destroy them. Boarding actions became the only option, leading to some of the bloodiest...
Can I skip this one, yo? Yo, can I skip this? Is this the one when they jump Vulcan? Can I skip this, y'all? I want to skip this one. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I want to skip this. I'm not kidding, bro. I want to skip this immediately.
Void warfare in Imperial history. The Imperium was caught completely off guard. The High Lords argued while defense fleets were obliterated, and then an attack moon arrived over Terra itself. In desperation, the Imperium launched a proletarian crusade, sending millions of untrained civilians and Fraterus militia to die attempting to board the moon. When this failed, Orc envoys landed on Terra speaking High Gothic to demand surrender. With the Imperial fists all but destroyed, Captain Corland initiated the Last Wall Protocol, summoning all the successor chapters of Rogel Doran's Legion. The Black Templars, Crimson Fists, and many others rallied, forming a combined force of roughly 3,000 Space Marines to defend the heart of the Imperium. But the turning point was really the arrival of Vulcan, Primarch of the Salamanders. Seizing command, Vulcan unified the fractured Imperial forces and launched a counter-crusade towards Ulanor, the site of the Emperor's first victory over the Orcs. There they found the Beast himself, a creature so massive it wielded twin battle cannons as handguns. Vulcan himself slew the first Beast in a brutal close-quarters battle.
Come on now. See, this is why he's the greatest of all time. I don't mean to be that guy, bro, but I'll be that guy. This is why he's the greatest of all time. Look at the size difference. See, if you were to face off against an enemy that size, bro, you'll pee your pants, bro. like, no lie, you'll piss your pants. If I was to face off somebody, bro, like against this size, I don't care who it is, bro, I'm knocking him out, bro. One hit. What they call it, one punch man, I just don't got the ball head. Yo, Vulcan, when Vulcan face off against somebody like this, bro, of that size, first of all, he needs to lay off the burgers and the honey buns, bro. He's too big for no reason. Like, Vulcan can easily knock this dude out, bro, instantaneously. But what I'm trying to say is, y'all, at the end of the day, bro, a lot of you guys that be really hating on Vulcan, bro, and shout out to my audience. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about all the Vulcan haters, because a lot of the Vulcan haters are not subscribed to me, bro. A lot of the Vulcan haters, bro, are just nothing but just couch dwellers. Bro, they eat cheeses all day long, bro. They don't know how to incline nothing. They don't go to the gym. They don't work out. They don't get their heart beating. They don't do nothing, bro. They're haters, bro. Vulcan, he's like the definition of like a hard worker. I'm sorry, bro. Like, generally, bro. Like, if you don't like Vulcan, there's something like literally wrong with you, bro. Like, it's not clicking up here, bro. Like, bro, I can use your head as a bongo. It's not clicking. What Justin Bieber said, it's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business. Bro, ain't that what Justin Bieber said? It's crazy how I don't want to say a bunch of y'all. It's crazy how some people are just Vulcan haters to the max, to where like they won't give him no props. The way he actually slain this beast right here down was absolutely monumental.
But only the first. Previously unknown to the Imperium, a second beast soon revealed himself, and the attack moon over Terra reactivated. Realizing conventional force wasn't enough, Corland convinced the High Lords to found the Death Watch, specialist kill teams drawn from every chapter and trained to hunt Xenos leaders. As the Death Watch hunted the attack moons, the Imperials discovered the true scale of the threat. Not one, not two, but 7 prime orcs, each ruling a separate orc empire. In a final desperate plan, captured orc psychers were forced into a ritual that produced a psychic backlash that severed the Waaagh energy sustaining the prime orcs. The ritual succeeded, killing the remaining beasts in an instant. The Imperium had survived, but barely. Damnos was just another mining world on the East Coast.
And Vulcan saved the day. Let's go, bro. Everybody give a hand up for Vulcan. Let's go. Clap, bro. Clap right now, bro. Clap. Okay. Let's go. Give a hand up to Vulcan. Let's go.
Fringe, until tectonic shifts tore open the planet's crust and woke an ancient Necron tomb world. which had been dormant since before the Great Crusade. When the Adeptus Mechanicus discovered the first ruins, they did what they always do. They started...
Bro got the entire blocks like electricity just in him, bro. bro, if it starts raining, y'all, like, bro, if somebody even shoot a water gun at him, bro, it's over with, bro. He gonna start shaking like a salt shaker. He gonna start hitting the Macarena, bro. Yo, if it starts pouring raining, it's up for him.
Looting alien technology without understanding the risk, and that greed triggered the Tomb's awakening. Within 6 months, the Necrons had wiped out almost the entire planetary garrison. Worse still, they flooded the skies with interference, cutting Damnos off from Imperial reinforcements. No help came until the very end, when the surviving defenders at Kellenport, holed up in the last surviving Navy battleship overhead, managed to broadcast a final distress call from their dying command bunker. That call was answered by Captain Cato Sicarius, commander of the Ultramarines' 2nd Company. With his usual boldness, Sicarius launched an immediate drop-pod assault through heavy fire. His forces hit the planet in 3 waves. Sicarius personally led the strike against the Necron Corps, while Chief Librarian Tigarius and heavy support squads destroyed the defense pylons, generating the interference. Meanwhile, dozens of Deathwind drop pods filled with automated heavy weapons instead of Space Marines smashed into the Necron lines, cutting down the advanced infantry. Kellenport was retaken, but the cost was severe. This was the Ultramarines' first war against the Necrons, and they were learning firsthand how relentless their new enemy was. The skeletal warriors repaired themselves mid-battle, forcing the Ultramarines into a grinding war of attrition. Half the 2nd Company was lost in the fighting, and Sicarius himself was nearly killed by a Necron overlord, surviving only because of the dreadnought Agrippan, who dragged him from the battlefield. Then, more bad news, as Tigarius confirmed the worst. The tomb beneath Damnos was still waking up, and the full Necron army had real forces yet. With their ships damaged and no reinforcements possible, Sicarius ordered a retreat. Agrippan held the line alone, giving his life to buy time for the final evacuation. Damnos fell to the Necrons. Sicarius would later lead a return campaign, but fate had other plans. The Necrons could not be defeated so easily, and the world remains under their control to this day.
Bro, like, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. Like, well, I think I wasn't cracking no jokes right there. Them boys don't play. Every time the Necron's on the screen, y'all, I gotta show respect. I know I told you guys the story 1,000 times, y'all. This is why I don't, this is why I don't talk, crazy-ish on, like, the Necrons. But if you're new here, shout out to you. I mean, I guess I'll, explain the story again, bro. Man, I was asleep, y'all. I'm talking about I'm counting sheep on my bed, bro. Bro, I'm over here counting sheep. Yo, all I hear is a boom, boom, boom. I'm like, yo, what happened? Like, I wake up delirious. You guys know, like, that first 7 seconds whenever you wake up, you feel like you're drunk. Like, if somebody's speaking to you, you don't really, like, you can't really process what they're saying. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, I'm looking crazy. I'm looking crazy, right? So, I still hear it. Boom, boom, boom. I'm thinking the SWAT team at my door. I'm thinking, oh, snap, they caught up to my illegal gambling. It's over with, right? They about to take me in. Yo, I go downstairs, I open the door, I said, who is it? Yo, so I stick my head out, all of a sudden I saw like 8 green beams. Yo, you would have thought I kidnapped Superman the way I saw so many beams up my face. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, whoa, yo, put your stuff down. Like, I don't even got no weapon, chill out. They're like, are you King Indy? I said, who? They said, are you King Indy? Don't lie to us, you look like him. I said, yeah, you got me. So boom, he yanked me out. First of all, he's strong. And when he grabbed me, he smelled like straight rust. He didn't have no cologne on or nothing. He smelled like straight rust. He said, what were you saying in the videos? I said, huh? Say one more time. He said, what were you saying in the videos? You can hear me. I'm like, oh, you're the, what's up, Mr. Necron? I'm like, yo, I was just cracking jokes, like I didn't mean to, like whatever I said, I apologize, my bad. And this is before, y'all, when I was crashing out on anybody. If you weren't Vulcan, I was crashing out on you, bro, like point blank period. And I'm gonna keep it real for what it is, y'all. Vulcan, not Vulcan, Necron, Mr. Necron, he said, yo, don't talk about us again, we're gonna let you go. He let me go, y'all. All of a sudden I'm good. So y'all, just I don't talk no ish about the Necrons at all, y'all. Point blank, period.
13th Black Crusade began with treachery. During a mass parade at Tyrock
Oh, I know.
Fields,
Fall
the
Acadia.
elite
I know this one.
Volscani
Fall Acadia.
cataphracts, once thought loyal, turned on Cadia's defenders. Their betrayal wiped out the Cadian High Command and devastated the assembled Imperial forces. It was a trap decades in the making, as the Chaos raids over the last few years had been bait to lure as many Imperial regiments as possible into a single killing field for the cataphracts. In the aftermath, command fell to Lord Castellan Ursukar E. Creed. He rallied the survivors and turned Cadia's shattered armies into a defiant shield against the full might of Abaddon the Despoiler. And Cadia did not fight alone. Saint Celestine descended with the Sisters of Battle, and long-lost Inquisitor Greyfax emerged to
Y'all gotta take her out on a date, y'all.
rally Imperial resistance. Even ancient enemies came to Cadia's defense. Eldred Ulthran and his Eldari kin struck chaos from the shadows, and Trazyn the Infinite unleashed preserved armies from his stasis vaults to protect his own interests. They fought for its ancient pylons hidden deep beneath the crust were critical to stabilizing the Eye of Terror. Abaddon's true goal was not conquest, it was to destroy those pylons and unleash the warp across the galaxy. For months, Cadia endured. Heretic Astartes, traitor regiments, and demons smashed against its defenses. Sorcery, orbital bombardments, and endless tides of infantry battered the world, but the pylons held and the guard refused to break. When the ground assault failed, Abaddon turned to his final weapon, a captured Blackstone fortress. He hurled it into Cadia itself, the impact cracking the planet's core, unleashing a warp storm, and finally shattering the world.
That thing, that thing like, what's it called, y'all? In Dragon Ball, Planet Namek. Whatever Frieza through the little... whenever Frieza threw the little thing at the planet, threw the ball at the planet.
Even then, the Cadians fought on. Creed organized the last evacuation, buying precious time as the planet died beneath them. Millions perished, but millions more escaped to fight another day.
Now, I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. Like, I wouldn't even... If I was on, Cadia, y'all, and, that happened, no lie, like my insight would be so good that I would just I would teleport like Goku and get off the planet, and I'd just be on the moon just emo dancing or something like that,
The 13th Black Crusade was far from over, but Cadia's sacrifice bought the Imperium time, and the message its defenders left behind still echoes through the stars. Cadia stands. At the same time Cadia was desperately holding off the vanguard of the 13th Black Crusade, the Blood Angels were dealing with their own apocalypse. Five-Fleet Leviathan, the largest Tyranid swarm the Imperium had ever seen, had split into two massive tendrils, one of which headed straight for Baal, the Blood Angels' homeworld. Commander Dante called every Blood Angels successor chapter to arms, assembling nearly 30,000 Space Marines. This was one of the largest Space Marine gatherings since the Horus Heresy. The war began in orbit as the Angels Excellus chapter was consumed by the Tyranid swarm before even making planetfall. Leviathan's hive ships poured into the system, overwhelming the defenders in wave after wave of biological horror. On Baal itself, the Blood Angels and their brothers destroyed 19 Tyranid assault waves, but with staggering losses. Gene Stealers infiltrated the Arx Angelicum fortress and slaughtered neophytes in their crypts. 5 chapter masters fell defending the walls. Entire companies of sanguinary guards and Death Company were spent in desperate last stands. The end appeared to be on them when the Leviathan Swarmlord led a final brutal assault. Commander Dante faced the ancient hive beast in single combat, killing it, but suffering mortal wounds in the process. As the defenders prepared for the end, a new enemy arrived, Kabanda, a greater demon of Khorne and the ancient nemesis of Sanguinius, descended onto Baal, declaring that the Blood Angels' deaths belonged to Chaos alone.
Yo, so crazy, he can't even close his mouth, y'all. He like these 24/7. He just cheesing. Close your mouth. He got no lips, no nothing. He don't got no... Nah, listen, I understand, bro. He got muscles on top of muscles. I understand he could just get rid of me in 2 seconds, but at the same time, I gotta get my bag off. Bro, he looks wicked. Seriously, bro. He looks absolutely wicked.
The stage was set for the Angels' final hour. But the galaxy itself changed the battle's fate. The fall of Cadia tore open the Great Rift, disrupting the Hive Fleet's synapse network and pulling much of Leviathan into the warp. The remaining Marines were then able to turn their attention to the demons that were left. Against all odds, Baal survived. In the aftermath, Rabute Gilliman arrived with the Indomitus Crusade. Reinforcements of Primaris Space Marines helped rebuild the shattered Blood Angels. In the closing years of the Horus Heresy, one warzone earned a name that spoke for itself: Titan Death. As the name would suggest, the Beta Garmin cluster wasn't just another battlefield, it was the largest Titan engagement in the galaxy's history. Beta Garmin had fallen early in the war, seized by the Alpha Legion and the Emperor's Children. It was the perfect launch point for Horus's final assault on Terra, and the Loyalists spent nearly 4 years trying to take it back. When they finally did, the victory was short-lived. Horus personally led his counterattack. To stop him, Rogel Dorn ordered every available force to hold the cluster. Space Marines, Imperial Army regiments, and 30 full Collegia Titanica legions on the Loyalist side alone
30?
faced a similar number of traitor god engines. Entire worlds burned. Millions of Imperial and traitor troops died in trenches, bunkers, and toxic wastelands, shattered by the footsteps of walking god engines. Titan.
Damn, man, I feel so bad for them. Obviously, y'all, this would never happen to me, y'all. Like, as a matter of fact, if I was like on a planet or like a battlefield where like that nuclear stuff would happen, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. I would legit just like tiptoeing in my Jordans. Like, I would legit tiptoe my way through the town or whatever, while covering my nose from like the toxic fumes and stuff like that, y'all. I think I would survive.
Clashed in battles so large they cracked the crusts of planets. But the Loyalists suffered from divided leadership while the traitors fought under the unified banner of the War Master. Relief came when the Primarch Sanguinius and Jagatai Khan arrived. Sanguinius took command, coordinating a desperate defense and leading by example. In one legendary duel, he and his Sanguinary Guard boarded and destroyed the traitor Imperator-class Titan Axis Mundi, one of the largest engines on the field. But the tide turned again when Horus seized Beta Garmin III. By taking the world's astropathic nexus, he cut the Loyalists off from Terra, and with no hope of reinforcement, Sanguinius ordered a withdrawal. Beta Garmin was lost, but the traitors had paid in blood and time. The Great Slaughter bought the
That's
Imperium.
actually the first time that I heard like Sanguinius like withdrawn like from a battle. Wow, that's actually crazy.
Precious weeks to prepare for the final battle. The next war would be on Terra itself. The skies of Terra burned, the War Master Horus had come, and the fate of humanity balanced on a knife's edge. The Emperor, trapped on the Golden Throne, held back the warp's fury below the palace, and so command of Terra's defenses fell to Rogel Dorn of the Imperial Fists, Sanguinius of the Blood Angels, and Jagatai Khan of the White Scars. Together they gathered everything the Imperium could muster: 3 entire Space Marine legions, Titans of the Collegia Titanica, Imperial Knights, the legendary Custodes, the Sisters of Silence, and hundreds of millions of soldiers from the Imperial Army. Against them came the horrors of the traitor legions. 8 legions committed to the main assault, leaving the Alpha Legion to disrupt reinforcements elsewhere. Alongside them were hordes of mutants, heretic mortals, demonic engines, and corrupted Titan legions. The Void War alone consumed tens of thousands of ships, but even that couldn't stop the traitors from reaching the surface. The siege truly began when Horus fired on the Emperor's own chambers, more in mockery than a true assault, as the palace defenses were more than capable of stopping bombardments. Perturabo battered the palace walls, Magnus tore at the psychic defenses, letting demons bleed through the cracks, and Horus, across the warp, tried to break his father's mind. For 12 brutal days, Terra endured. The first infantry assaults came from the Death Guard, landing amidst tides of cultists and mutants. Jagatai Khan led a jet bike counter.
Yo, imagine how many like potholes and yo, but hey, imagine how many potholes. Like, bro, there ain't no roads, y'all. GG's. That little flat surface that they had before, totaled. Bro, it's gonna take. Well, here's the thing, right? If it's China, y'all, like, bro, China will clean up a road in like 2 minutes. Here in America, bro, we work on one road for 2 months. I know, crazy work, huh? Man, like imagine the potholes on Terra. Woo!
Charge that pushed them back, but the cost was staggering. When the Lion's Gate spaceport fell, Rogel Dorn and Perturabo stood face to face across the ruins, brothers turned bitter enemies. Every day bled the defenders dry. Titans dueled across crumbling cities, the skies turned black with ash, and the land itself became a graveyard. And yet the defenders were still able to claim some victories. Corswain of the Dark Angels led a breakout to reclaim the Astronomicon. Jagatai Khan retook the Lion's Gate in single combat against Mortarion, but the tide couldn't be held forever. Eventually, the Loyalists were forced back to the Eternity Gate, the last defense before the Emperor's sanctum. It was there the Blood Angels made their final stand. Sanguinius battled like a legend, slaying Angron and banishing Kabanda, but every victory came with losses they couldn't replace. Then Horus lowered the void shields of his flagship, issuing a challenge, creating a trap. The Emperor rose from the throne for the last time to meet it. With him went Sanguinius, Dorn, the Custodes, and his finest warriors, teleporting aboard the Vengeful Spirit to take the arch-traitor down. Malkador the Sigillite, knowing the Golden Throne must remain powered, took his master's place, burning out his life to keep the Astronomicon lit and the warp portal sealed.
Bro, hey, you know what? I gotta give respect to respect this dude, bro. I heard that he was on that chair for like 5 days, like 5 seconds, y'all, 5 minutes, and then it just zapped him. Done. Now, obviously, y'all would with as much aura, as me, y'all, and as much power as I got, y'all, and I'm not even trolling y'all. Like, I know I troll a lot and whatever, but like, I'm not even trolling y'all. Like, just keeping it real for what it is. Like, if I was on the Golden Throne, y'all, like, I'm sitting on there for at least 1,000+ years.
But it was, as we mentioned, a trap, and the final assault went wrong. The ship was bleeding into the warp itself, scattering the Loyalists through nightmare realms. Sanguinius reached Horus first, and died to his brother's hand alone. Then came the final battle, the Emperor versus Horus, father against son. Their duel shattered reality itself, and in the end, despite all Horus's dark power, the Emperor destroyed him utterly. But it was a hollow victory. Mortally wounded, the Emperor was carried back to the Golden Throne by Dorn, his life sustained by its failing mechanisms. Hours later, Guilliman arrived with the largest Imperial fleet of the war, too late to save his father. The Horus heresy was over, the Imperium had survived, but the dream of a united, enlightened humanity died on that battlefield.
Yep.
Many, if not all, of the battles in this video had
like
enough.
The Horus heresy, bro, like, the Horus heresy was just like a big family fight, bro. And everybody knows a family fight, there is no winners. There are no winners in a family fight. None. It is a loss. It is a loss. There are no winners, bro. And that's literally what the Horus heresy was. It was legit a big family fight.
Lore to fill several books, and we would love to do deeper dives into their stories. So which of these battles would you like to see get its own in-depth discussion? Which is your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and don't...
Hey man, shout out to more lore, man, for this video. Comment down below, man, what was y'all favorite battle out of all of these 10? I'll probably say... I know y'all gonna say, like, the War of the Beasts or whatever, since y'all want to be so annoying. Like, I know, because I know my audience a lot. Bro, the Fall of Cadia, bro, that was... Man, that was legendary. But I might have to go Horus Heresy, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. Definitely go Horus Heresy, man. Comment down below what do you guys think about this video. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. All the road to 10,000 subscribers before the end of this year. Peace out, everybody.